Welcome back to Design is Blank. This jig is insane. It gives me a level of accuracy that I don't deserve. And honestly, it's the best jig for the miter saw I've ever seen, and I want to share it with you in this video. I'll show you how to build it, but I'll tell you first why you should have this. This gives you perfect miters on the miter saw, which I know sounds crazy. I know it goes to 45 degrees. I'm talking furniture grade miters. I'm talking no math. Just push a good square up to it, lock down both fences. The miter saw needs an upgrade, and it costs next to nothing. You cut with each side of the fence, like side 1 and then side 2, just to be super clear. And I will show you a project that was done entirely on that jig. These miters have absolutely no gap, and I'm showing you all 4 sides because some troll on Instagram told me that I couldn't get all 4 corners done with this jig. And I know the miter saw gets a bad rap. It's been relegated to rough cutting work. Without taking the jig off the saw, I can zero it out and just cut my pieces down. I can take an angle gauge and find literally any angle and adjust to whatever this angle is and put it down there and get that done for trim work. Festool makes a saw that is just like what this jig does for $1,000+. And I'm not saying it's better than that, but I am saying that it's a hell of a lot cheaper. For the cost of a cup of coffee in my area, you can buy the plans that I've laid out all the measurements and sizes of everything, and it will take you probably less than an hour to build. Either way, I hope you have this jig in your shop in the future. Let's get into the build.
Before I get started, I just do want to say that I'm using all of the woodworking tools I have available in my shop, and you may not have all of these tools, but that's okay. You can use your miter saw and a jigsaw, as well as a drill to get this jig done. Those are the bare minimum tools I'd say you need, but you could also get it done with the router table for the slot, which I think is a little bit easier and cleaner. And I use the bandsaw to cut the radiuses on the fence piece. A little bit about the materials. I go over the exact dimensions in the build, but what you need to do is basically have 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood or 18 mil if you're somewhere else in the world. And those 2 pieces need to fit roughly over the bed of your saw. And that will be the base and the top pieces. And then you need 2 other pieces for your fences, which are a little bit longer, I think, for more support. Now, when I'm marking things out, I love this Incra ruler, which has slots for a mechanical pencil to fit into. It makes laying out precise measurements really easy. And you do need to be precise. In the plans, I also included printable templates to make things easy. But a couple of tips I have for you, especially while drilling: use a brad point bit, which are the bits that have a sharp point in the center. If you don't have one of those, then use a nail set like I just did, or an awl or something to create a divot right on the mark so that your drill bit doesn't wander when you're drilling. I made a mistake early on while doing the prototype. My bit wandered maybe a 1/16 of an inch off, probably even less than that, and it will affect the accuracy. So make sure that you are as accurate as you can be. For the slot, which is probably the most difficult part of this whole build, I am using my router table. And the way that I'm aligning the bit into the hole and moving my fence up to it is a technique I've used in the past with some success. I'm open if you have another suggestion on how to do this, but essentially I put the bit in the hole on the left, and then I lift up my piece and I put it in the hole on the right and make sure that my fence piece is still contacting my router fence. And then I just log it down, and I'm going to connect the holes in multiple passes on the router table. It's really important not to try to do this in one shot. You will not get an accurate cut. It's a little more dangerous. It's probably a strain on your router. So take your time. I think I did 3 passes to get through this, and it worked out great. Yeah, so the router bit did grab a little bit. It didn't damage my piece, luckily. You gotta hold on to your piece very firmly when you're dropping it onto a spinning router bit, and move slowly and methodically. Keep your hands safe, obviously. But ultimately, I got the slots done. And these slots allow the fixed points to sort of pivot. Very important for this jig. Now I'm moving on to the base. I should say that I did the hardest part first in the video. The base is very simple. It's a second layer of plywood that sandwiches that center portion to create a channel that it can slide within. I used CA glue to secure this second piece down, and the only tip I have here is that you don't want glue to land anywhere near that channel and glue itself together, and you don't want to get glue on your saw, so keep your glue lines back about 1 inch. You can also use screws, you can use clamps, regular wood glue, whatever you want to do to keep these pieces down. I'm sure it will be fine. Another really awesome option for this jig, if you take the center portion out, you can replace it with just a piece of plywood for a regular zero clearance insert, which is just scrap plywood. So I use it all the time like that too. And the next step is me determining where I want my mark to be so that I have the maximum range of motion to cover all of those angles. If you have the plans, you really don't need to do this step at all. It's just for me, but I used an awl to mark a space in the middle of my channel, and then I mapped that out on the base of the jig, and that is where I'm going to install threaded inserts to capture that portion of the fences. So when you do this for yourself, if you build this jig, I mean, plans make it easy, but you have to make sure that your threaded inserts go in accurately. I made a mistake here, and I'm showing it intentionally because the margin for error on where these go is really, really minimal. What will happen is you will get a 45-degree cut, you will get no tear out, but the length of the cut will be off a little bit. And I discovered that later in the video, but ultimately it's fixed on the plans. So if you get it right the first time, again, best tip is a brad point bit. If not, definitely mark very accurately and don't let your bit wander. Next, I'm bolting my fence pieces down with some hex socket bolts, and this is great because I can use an Allen key to tighten them down easily. It's pretty quick. You could also use various types of handled bolts. I'll probably switch to those in the future, but for now, it's really not a big deal. I did also need a big enough washer to bridge both sides of the slot. The next step is very simple. You need to be able to zero out the jig so that the fence is parallel to your saw's fence. This is so you can cut rough cut dimensions. For this jig to work effectively and efficiently, you need to have your pieces cut within 1/4 of an inch of their final dimension. And that's because the other side of the fence will get in your way. You can't have a ton of overhang, essentially. This is fine because I find I get a better result. I can see where the blade's gonna go. I can just trim it at the very end and get a nice cut. I used a square again against the side of the jig and made sure it was parallel and touching, and then just tacked in some blocks to become a stop. Now when you're setting up your jig, you just push your nicest square against both fence pieces and you tighten it down. Notice that there is a little bit of slop so that you can dial it into perfection. When you're cutting, you're going to use the left side of the fence for your first cut and then the right side of the fence for your second cut. This will ensure that your miter is perfect. Every once in a while, I make a mark of a little 1 or a number 2 so that I don't get confused on which side of the fence I need to be using. But it's pretty obvious if all of the faces are up, you probably won't make that mistake. As we've said, you can use this jig for any angle, so an angle finder works great to find those random angles. You don't need any math, you just need to butt your fence up and have your angle finder locked down. Very important, do not forget your trench feature on your miter saw, because if you do, this feature prevents the blade from going all the way down. If you forget, you're going to cut your jig in half. Here's the error that was because of my threaded inserts. I have a perfect zero clearance 90-degree cut, but the length of the two pieces is not exactly correct. And the reason for this is where my threaded inserts landed, they were just off. So I corrected this. I had to move the fences down. I added a second set of threaded inserts on my jig. So pay no attention to those first ones. But I lost 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch of capacity. Not a big deal because it's still plenty more than I will ever need. So I redid it with the brad point bit for the accuracy, and I cannot stress enough that you need these to be in the right spot for this jig to work well. Because I messed up, I needed to extend my stops with the thickness of a piece of plywood. That was the easiest way to do it. So I used some more CA glue and some activator and just simply added another piece of plywood to the front of my stop. No harm, no foul. Double checking that I'm still square and good to go. So taking my scrap pieces of plywood with a clearly marked 1 and number 2 on them just for you, I will show that these come together now perfectly. And there is no tear out on either side. They are dialed, and that's what we want out of a 90-degree cut. But what about other cuts? I took this piece of tile and used it against my fence to make sure that I could find a weird angle. The good thing is that this jig bisects the angle, so it's right in the middle, and there's no math involved. It looks a little bit tough to hold these pieces together, but I assure you they are basically perfect. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Design is Blank.